I am Ivan Martinez, SEK-Riyadh principal, where from I'm speaking now, as you can see. Welcome to this second webinar of a series in which we're covering different topics about education, its link with the world real issues, and how we want our students to make a better and more peaceful world. Today, we will be getting to know a bit more about the system we follow at SEK-Riyadh, and in fact, not only SEK-Riyadh, but every SEK school within the education group. This is the International Baccalaureate. To do so, I'm very happy to welcome today our two speakers. Both are key members of the SEK family and experienced educators, Ms. Elnara Israfilova. Hello, Elnara. And Ms. Cecilia Villavicencio. Hello, Cecilia.
Hello.
Well, first of all, I wanted to thank you again for your time today. I'm gonna introduce Elnara and Cecilia. They'll be talking about the IB in general and about the PYP in particular, which I think is something that's probably more interesting for parents of our current students at SEK-Riyadh and families interested in. We will soon be an MYP candidate school for the middle year, so we are going for the full continuum, as you'll understand soon enough what is the IB about. Later on, after the presentation, we'll have questions and answers. So if you want to just raise your hand at the end, I'll give you the word to ask any questions you might have. You can also write on the chat. So if you want to ask a question, just write on the chat and I'll address them at the end of the presentations. Okay, let's get started then. First of all, Elnara is an active member of the IB Educator Network. She was born in Baku, Azerbaijan, in a multicultural family, and she has worked within international context for more than 14 years as a consultant, visiting team leader, and also as a PYP coordinator. She has supported a wide range of schools in the region of Europe, Africa, and the Middle East, seeking international accreditation, including SEK-Riyadh, as we are seeking international accreditation now, as some of our families already know. Elnara is now Associate Director General of SEK Schools, and she can easily describe herself as an international-minded person who truly believes that education is the key to success. Thank you very much, Elnara, for your time today. And I'll introduce Cecilia, as I know you're going to be speaking interchangeably. You're going to speak one and then the other. So Cecilia Villavicencio is a diploma program graduate herself, born in Argentina. She worked for the IB organization for 7 years, in charge of the diploma program evaluation process in the Americas, from Canada to Chile. And then she became the diploma program coordinator at SEK-Ciudalcampo in Madrid, Spain. Then went back to Argentina to be the head of academics at another diploma program school. And now, happily, back to Ciudalcampo as the school principal. She calls herself a diploma program person. As you know, she lived the diploma for many years now. She's lived the diploma for many years now, but she lives the full IB mission and vision in her everyday job. Thank you very much for your time today as well, Cecilia, and the audience is all yours.
Okay, thank you. So here we are. What is an IB education and what makes it an excellent curriculum for our learners? What kind of education do you want for your children? As responsible parents, you must be interested, and I think that is why you're here, in getting involved hands-on to make sure this learning option at SEK-Riyadh is the best for your children and for their future. And this is a great opportunity to hear about the IB organization and its programs and what they have to offer to our community, explained by educators from SEK International Schools. I'm not selling anything I don't believe in. As Ivan said, I'm a product of the IB programs as a diploma program graduate myself. I was not able to go through the rest of the programs because I'm old enough not to have seen them already created. The International Baccalaureate, from now on, we are going to talk about the IB, is a global leader in international education, delivering a powerful continuum of programs that are student-centered for ages 3 to 19 years. The IB continuum of programs is designed to develop well-rounded individuals who can respond to today's challenges with an open mind and at peace. Each of the 4 programs provides a detailed curriculum framework that is appropriate to every student's age. Let's share the IB mission. Ivan, can you read it for me, please?
Absolutely. The International Baccalaureate aims to develop inquiring, knowledgeable, and caring young people who help to create a better and more peaceful world through intercultural understanding and respect. To this end, the organization works with schools, governments, and international organizations to develop challenging programs of international education and rigorous assessment. These programs encourage students across the world to become active, compassionate, and lifelong learners who understand that other people, with their differences, can also be right.
Okay, these are also, big words and big ideas, and we will try to go through them in depth only by thinking of 3 main of these ideas. And these are the ones that I'm highlighting here. I want to stress on these concepts: intercultural understanding, challenging programs of international education and rigorous assessment, and active, compassionate, and lifelong learners. The IB organization is a non-profit educational foundation that began in 1968. At that time, the idea was to educate students from different nationalities to become friends, and one adults and responsible for the leadership of their countries could not think of harming his or her friends from school. This original idea has developed into what it is now called intercultural understanding or intercultural awareness. We are aware of our differences, we respect them, and we enrich our knowledge by expressing our similarities and differences and taking advantage of them. And this is an international curriculum, meaning that any student in the world might be studying the same as I am studying right now, linking it to the local with the global and vice versa. You will certainly be hearing about concept-based curriculum. This means learning through concepts rather than accumulating information and repeating it by heart without learning. Since information, facts, data are available, we work with big concepts that may be exemplified by different events in history or experiments in the lab or a piece of literature. Let's think of a concept I like the most: revolution or conflict. If we all share the understanding of what conflict means, then we can use this parameter to identify events in history that fit our understanding of revolution or conflict, even though we might not be studying the same historical event. And then at the end of high school, I might be having the same final exams as any other student in the world and still be able to complete this examination with the historical events I studied, because the questions will go beyond facts. The questions will assess learning. And finally, to address the active, compassionate, and lifelong learners, I will talk about the IB learner profile, which is the sum of attributes that we strive to develop among our students and all the school community. But the video I'm going to show you now will show you better. So then, what is an international education and why are we calling SEK-Riyadh an international school? I would say SEK-Riyadh is an international school because it is committed to an education that is understood as international. And again, what is an international education? In our experience, visiting other Ivy World schools, as Elnara does herself, when asked, how does your school promote an international mindset, or in what way do you understand an international education, it was very common to receive in response, our students travel for exchange programs once a year. Or we celebrate the UN Day, in which all our foreign students wear their typical costumes and their families share their meals. In our assembly hall, the flags of all our students' nationalities are raised. Paraphrasing George Walker, former Ivy director, this can help, but we will say that it's an incipient and shallow approach to understanding the concept and make it meaningful in our schools. A school that provides an international education fosters an international mindset, although I like the concept of intercultural understanding better. But based on what? Based on different teaching strategies, experiential learning through service, contact with reality outside the school, the professional development of teachers, understanding from different perspectives, critical thinking, communication in different languages, cooperation, open-mindedness, and curiosity, cultural diversity, the global importance of local issues, real-life experiences, international projects, field trips, and reflection on them, and an international curriculum. That's why we are an Ivy school. The Ivy offers 4 educational programs to more than 1.95 million students aged 3 to 19 across the globe. You will have now the chance to see each of the program models. This is the continuum of the 4 programs of the IB. This is the first of the IB programs. The Primary Years Program, or PYP, marks the start of a lifelong journey for children aged 3 to 12. And Elnara will talk about this program in a short while. The Middle Years Program, or MYP, builds a solid academic foundation for students from 11 to 16 years old. And the Diploma Program, a program that prepares the students for the future and to excel at their careers and lead meaningful lives. And this program is for students from 16 to 19 years old. Finally, the career-related program, also for students from 16 to 19 years old, and it prepares them to follow their career pathways, combining academic subjects with their own professional interests.
Okay, thank you, Cecilia. Well, good afternoon, Riyadh. Good afternoon, SEK International School, Riyadh. I'm so glad to be back with you again, this time remotely, but still I appreciate the opportunity to support the school once again, this time through the webinar, and thank you all for coming today and attending the webinar. Well, as Cecilia has just said, the first program offered by, out of 4 programs offered currently by the International Baccalaureate organization, is the Primary Years Program. And this program is the one that SEK International School Riyadh is seeking authorization for, and they are a candidate school. So let's see what makes PYP school unique. So the first thing that we need to take into account is how students learn versus what they learn. So in the PYP school context, we stress quite a lot the fact that children are natural inquirers. So the primary program, or the PYP, nurtures curiosity. It is an educational framework with a very structured approach that provides opportunities to students, to kids, develop their interests, their curiosity, love for exploration, and what is very important, lifelong skills such as collaboration, creative thinking, critical thinking, that they will apply not only at this particular stage, but throughout their life. So it is a philosophy that supports students in their lifelong learning journey, in which they can apply knowledge in real life situations. So they really prepare them for the world. And as you could see from the video that Cecilia has just shown us, we strive to create citizens for a better future. So currently, the PYP is a program that is offered in 109 countries and in many prestigious schools worldwide, and the number it has in the last 10 years has grown exponentially with regard to the schools that are offering this program. So in a PYP context, play-based learning is essential, especially when we talk about early years. It is studies in early childhood field have shown that children are hands-on natural inquirers, and they develop their learning through meaningful and playful interactions with other people and their environment. So play-based learning is the key factor in this particular context. As we said before, the primary years program is a specially designed program, keeping in mind learning requirements of the development of children from 3 to 12 years old. That's why we insist in this healthy development of students at this particular age. For example, if our students do some pretend play or role play, they acquire some knowledge, but at the same time language skills. They can assign roles, they develop some language skills, and they also create some storylines or plan a storyline. So through this play or pretend play, they have this language acquisition, and they use language in particular contexts, and they have the chance to develop it. At the same time, when they play with puzzles, for example, as you can see in the picture at the center of the slide, they are dealing with problem solving. They also develop their memory, their attention, and all these skills are essential to be developed at this particular stage. And if we take a look at the third picture, we could see how they can develop their cognitive and social skills, because they are, well, apart from thinking which stick matches well according to the particular shape they are trying to make. They also collaborate with their peers. They talk, they have conversations, they regulate their behavior, and so on. At the same time, teachers observe this learning. They observe that they constantly keep direct observations. They keep notes on recording of this learning, and like that they introduce new concepts and new skills at different stages. So it's this is an approach that is very respectful with early childhood development. If we take a look at physical education or physical skills, you could see that when learners play outdoor and indoor learning, when they learn how to crawl, to run, to bounce the ball, they have a chance to develop their gross skills. And when they play with small parts, they develop their fine motor skills. These are skills that must be developed at this particular age, because later on they constitute the basis for students to learn how to write correctly, how to interact correctly with their peers. Even for this is a pretext or the foundation for students to learn literacy, mathematical skills, and so on. At the same time, as we said before, it is an inquiry-based approach. Students inquire, they investigate, they explore the world around them. Normally, they ask questions and teachers guide the inquiry. Sometimes they just leave them for independent inquiry, while at other times teachers guide the inquiry with some structured intentionally created lessons where students have the chance to develop these skills that they have and they need to develop. So these inquiries usually very authentic. It's applied to real life context, and when we say inquiry, we do not talk about textbooks. There is room for textbooks and workbooks in a PYP school. However, these are mostly used as secondary resources. So teachers usually develop personalized learning materials so that students have a chance to so that they can adapt to each student particular learning needs and styles. So we truly believe that students should not be passive receptors of factual knowledge, because in other words, if we read a text in the textbook, it's just some factual knowledge in a particular context. So what we really want to do is our students to apply their knowledge in real life situations. As I always say to parents when I worked at school, is that we can get that factual knowledge from Google, for example. We don't need to know when America was discovered or who discovered America. So because we can Google it and we will get the answer. However, all these skills and attitudes have to be developed through real life situations and context. At the same time, teachers act as guides, so they lead the classroom. But at the same time, they guide or facilitate learning. They provide opportunities for students to ask relevant questions, to collaborate with their peers, with the teacher as well. But at the same time, they just know when to step in and to step out and to say, okay, this is your time now for independent and autonomous inquiry and independent learning. With this, students are given a chance to reflect on what they are learning and to choose what is best for them. And most of times the inquiry sparkles from their interests and passions. And when this inquiry happens is when learning is truly meaningful and relevant for students. It's not something that is coming from the teacher, but from the students themselves. We also must say that the IB and the PYP in particular is a very rigorous program in terms of teachers' professional development. So it requires constant professional development of teachers, IB official trainings. So our schools provide these opportunities for teachers. All our teachers are IB trained, and they are really passionate. They are qualified and passionate educators. They are always in line with the new trends in education, and they participate in blogs and conferences and so on. At the same time, we also have, we are privileged to have our UCJC, Camilo José Cela University, which is part of SEK Education Group, which also provides us with lots of opportunities of professional development for teachers, such as IB trainings held at the campus of our university, and also international conferences, expert courses, and so on and so forth. So this is something that we're truly proud of. At the same time, we also want to speak about learning spaces. Space is an essential part in the PYP because it's considered the third teacher in the PYP context and PYP philosophy. Because it provides students with opportunities for collaborative and independent work. So there is a concept of open space classrooms where students can work independently, can work freely. They move around the classroom. So usually you won't see in a PYP classroom, you won't see front rows or last rows desks, but small groups of tables were grouped for small groups of students where they can interact either with their peers or with the teacher and choosing different materials that they're using for the inquiry and so on. At the same time, as you can see in the picture, Teachers also move and interact with students. There is a lot of flexibility with regard to spaces, and this also provides for these meaningful opportunities for inquiry among students. There are also, well, classrooms normally are organized in different learning centers where there is space for independent reading or for writing, for discovery centers. And at SEK-Riyadh, if you visit, those of you who have not visited SEK-Riyadh yet, you can also find makerspace, laboratory spaces for assemblies, spaces for dance and sports. So all these learning spaces provide for, as we said, meaningful opportunities for students to inquire, to explore, to explore their interests, what they're really interested in, and with this, as we said, making their learning meaningful and enjoyable. And well, finally, the assessment, because you might wonder how students in a PYP school are assessed. So I just wanted to show this this picture. I don't know if, I'm not sure if you can read it, what it says. This is a picture where that clearly shows that we cannot assess all students equally, because all of them have different capabilities, different abilities, different skills, and so assessment has to be also adapted to their needs, styles, and rhythms. So if we talk about traditional tests, knowledge-based tests, or textbook-based assessments, this is not something that we support in the PYP. However, what we truly believe in is that assessment has to be meaningful, and it has to support students' learning in terms of their skills and how they progress in their learning, in their journey. So normally teachers adapt, so it's formative ongoing assessment, which proves to be quite effective. Otherwise, as we said, traditional tests are proven ineffective because it just ranks students' performance against other peers. So it doesn't give real information either to teacher, nor to the student, nor to families about how students are progressing. However, if assessment is meaningful and it's based on real life contexts, it would definitely give more information. And like that, teachers can also, if the teacher sees that the student does not fully understand a concept, these types of assessments give opportunity to teacher to change the way of presenting this concept to the student and personalize this their learning. So they with this we support a lot differentiation and also inclusion of different learning styles and needs of our children. Because as we say, children all are developing in different ways and at different paces. And at the same time, this the feedback that students usually receive from their teachers and even from their peers proves to be really meaningful and helps our kids to reflect on their learning and think of or set along with their teacher next steps and identify their areas of strength and areas that need further improvement and work towards those goals. And well, if you are interested more about the IB PYP program, and I will just copy the links now to the chat. We highly encourage parents to support the PYP at home, not only at school. So our parents are an essential part of our learning community. So we invite you to visit these links. They are the first one is some kind of short e-learning resources. It's a playlist on different aspects or elements of the IB PYP. The second link is for parents, especially for early years, early childhood parents, to support learners through play, even at home, not only at school. And the final and the last link is just some tips to support inquiry opportunities. So if your child asks you a question, it gives you some tips on how to continue, how to proceed with that question. Should I just answer the question straight away, or maybe I can create some meaningful opportunities for them to continue asking more, or when I go on a trip with my child, what should I do, what my attitude should be, or how I can encourage my kid to be an inquirer. So just in a few minutes, I will paste these links in the chat so that you can copy them. And we invite you to join us in all next webinars that will be held by SEK International School Riyadh. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Elnara and Cecilia. Well, as I mentioned before, there's a chat where Elnara is going to copy and paste the links, and you can see Ms. Julie Alonso is also providing a cell phone you can get in touch with if you want more information about SEK-Riyadh. I'd like to open a discussion just in case someone would like to ask a question or share an idea. Please do that through the chat, or you can raise your hand and ask any questions. In the meantime, as you spend some time thinking and maybe coming up with a question you want to ask, I took some notes. I just wanted to say we're very lucky at SEK-Riyadh because we not only have wonderful students, but we have amazing and fully committed teachers. Some of them are even here as an audience today, and supportive parents. As Elnara mentioned, it is important as well to support the PYP and the IB philosophy at home. Another idea, or I'd like to share with you all, is the ATL skills. What are ATL skills? Are approaches to learning, and following up on what Cecilia and Elnara shared before, is we want our students not to learn, as Elnara mentioned, facts, but rather gain skills that will help them later on throughout their career as a learner and as a professional, as a human being. I'd say these skills are self-management skills, communication skills, critical thinking skills. Thank you, Elnara. I thought you had them there. Following up on Elnara's example before, she mentioned that we don't want our students, they don't need to learn who or when discovered America. You can find that online. We want them to go farther. So was it Chris Columbus who discovered America, or the Vikings, or the first humans who walked through nowadays Russia to walk into America? Was even America discovered? What is that concept? No, that's what we want our students to be able to think, this critical thinking, this idea, and learn through research, collaboration, discussion. Also, something that's very important, and I'd like to stress, and I do when I meet with families, and please, if you're a family at a school, don't hesitate to get in touch with me. If you would like to have a meeting with me, I'll explain further any doubt if you wish. But it's the idea of the continuum, the full continuum of the IB. Cecilia mentioned about the 4 programs. We will go for 3. Eventually, maybe even the career-related program, but for sure the PYP, the MYP, the middle years program, and the diploma program. We start preparing our learners for what's to come in the diploma program since they arrive at school under 3 years old. So throughout the whole PYP, the MYP, and until they reach the diploma program, they get a very well-rounded education and preparation with all of these skills, and also the knowledge they need to succeed. So I think that's very important to stress. And I think I'm rambling on, so I'm going to let you, if no questions in the chat, no hands, but if I'll give you a couple of minutes, 1 minute to think about any questions you might have. Otherwise, we're going to leave it here. I'd like to remind you, as I mentioned before, that this is... oh, thank you, Kim. I think, Elnara, do you want to take that one, as I believe?
Yes, sure. Thank you, Kim, for your question. Our SEK schools do hold PYP exhibitions. PYP exhibition is an essential element. It is a requirement for a PYP school to hold the exhibition in the final year of the primary years program. If you are asking about SEK-Riyadh, just to tell you, since this is a candidate school, it is not a requirement, yes, to hold the PYP exhibition. However, they are they are progressing towards this this next step. Once they get authorized, this will be a requirement, and of course, we will be delighted to have our parents in the final year of the PYP program to have our families to attend and to see how their kids are expressing themselves, how they inquire, they guide their own inquiry, and how they this is like the whole synthesis of all the PYP elements that they have been learning and developing throughout all the years of their learning throughout the PYP.
So for sure, next academic year we'll have a PYP final exhibition. Thank you for the question, Kim. So as I was mentioning, this is a webinar in a series of webinars. The next one you'll have soon enough in our social media, through WhatsApp and everything. You'll get the information. But stay tuned. It's going to be next Wednesday at 7 p.m. KSA time, and it's going to be focused on mindfulness. So we'll have a couple of experts. The topic is going to be what is mindfulness and why is it important for students' well-being and learning. So that's our next appointment. If you wish, again, please feel free to contact any of us. Thank you very much, Cecilia and Elnara, for your time today. The people attending live, and if you're watching the recording as well, thank you very much for watching this recording. Have a great evening, everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. It's a pleasure.
Thank you. Have a good rest of the day.